Welcome to the educational series. Glad to talk a little bit about the Maine Coast trip tonight. Let's talk a little bit about Team Treks first. We've been doing trips for 20 years. Team Treks started out of American Youth Hostels, out of the Council of American Youth Hostels in Buffalo. And Maine Coast has been one of our trips we've been running for most of that 20 years. It was an early trip. This trip is predominantly in Maine. Most of the days, it's a 14-day trip. Most of the days are in Maine. In the first couple of days, you'll bike up to Portland, a really great city. You head north from there. You're going to go along the coast, and you're following some really pretty towns. You're going to cross the Penobscot Bridge, which is a really pretty suspension bridge, a rather modern bridge, and it has this huge observation tower. Then you head on to Acadia National Park. Really probably the highlight of the trip.
Honestly, when I tell people about going into Maine, I mean, Cliff kind of said it, but Maine is just really, really nice in the summertime. Like it's super pretty there. The campgrounds, a lot of them were right on the water, and we could see, the many bays that kind of come in off of the Maine coast. I don't know, like Portland was a fantastic city. We took a ferry to another island and just kind of spent the day putzing around there. There were a lot of nice little places to see in Maine in the summertime, and the seafood was delicious, and the weather was perfect. And Acadia National Park is a magical place. It's super, super cool. They're great hiking. They have nice bike trails. It's really a great park to bike to.
And the water was so pretty, and I feel like over the course of the trip, I kind of really grew as a person because of a lot of things tested me.
I remember one night we were just kind of scaling on a rocky beach. Maine has a lot of rocky beaches. I mean, we definitely found some sandy beaches, but the Maine coastline is a pretty rocky one. And so we were kind of climbing down some rocks. I forget where we were, but we started finding just fresh mussels all over the place, and we were just throwing them into something, I don't know, a t-shirt or a bag or something. We ended up cooking those in butter over the fire later that night, and that was a very exciting evening for me. I really enjoyed that a lot. With these trips in general, it's fun it's a very unique, kind of interesting process to just, show up in Boston, a place that I really have not spent much time, and just be all of a sudden, I'm part of a group that is going to do this big thing together, and you have no idea who the people you're going to be with are.
But when we were in Acadia, I also remember one time we were at the beach, and there was this little random boy that came over to us because Max was digging a huge hole in the sand with his bare hands, and he jumped in the hole, and that was funny. That was really funny. I don't really remember him.
But there was one time when we got lost on the way to that the duck beach campsite. I don't know if you guys remember that. Then we got there and we sat on the dock and ate a whole thing of ice cream, and that was fun. And I also remember the carriage trails were actually super cool, and we got to this kind of cove area where it was a lake surrounded by mountains, and there was a lot of echoes, and we just yelled at it.
It's a slow form of transportation that really allows you to kind of interact very closely with everything around you. You can see everything you're rolling by. You're not gonna miss many turns because you weren't paying attention.
I think it makes you stronger, just like mentally and I guess physically. Like my legs were pretty strong after, I remember. But yeah, I mean, it made me want to try more things. I was really picky. I remember like going on the trip, like I was afraid to eat a lot of foods. I was like mentally like weak in the aspect where I wouldn't like want to do sports because I didn't like the running or something. But then when I got back from the trip, it like helped me out in those aspects where like I started trying new foods. I started biking more, I guess, like longer mileages. I just was comfortable with it, I guess. And I was out of my comfort zone already so much that I was able to apply that to new situations, if that